Hey, how you doing? I had to. I saw my glasses, I'm like, I had to do that. I have to do that. Today, we're gonna be going over something that I struggled my entire content creation career on. This was the biggest thing I struggled with, and finally, I've gotten pretty good at it, I would say. Not to toot my horn or anything, and that is color grading. Color grading doesn't have to be complex. I've watched so many tutorials and people make it so complex. You need to know all these graphs, all this bullshit to get great color grading. When I create videos just like this, without barely even knowing how to color grade. I'm a very simplistic man, don't need a lot of things. And the most thing I struggled my entire content creation career was color grading. And Premiere Pro's color grading, I know they just did a new update, but still it is buns compared to Dehancer and all of these other softwares. But that's why I've been using this plugin called Dehancer, which saves my ass. Literally. So in this video, I'm gonna be taking you guys through my entire color grading process using Dehancer. And I'm very jealous for you guys because I'm actually giving away one free subscription to the plugin, which I wish I got that a really long time ago. And in order to be qualified for this Dehancer free subscription giveaway, just comment the word Dehancer below and also tell me your favorite part about color grading. And 1 week from now, I'll go down into the comment section and just pick one of your guys' comments and you'll get the free subscription. I think that's good. That's probably good enough. Yeah, let's go, let's rip. We have the same clip here. This is one of my favorite clips I've ever shot in my entire life. It is just me walking into this scene, and you can see right here, nothing's done to this clip because we're gonna transform it from this to this beautiful shot. Look at this. The colors are perfect. My skin tone is absolutely perfect. The greens pop out so well with this like yellow look, and the sky is just so bright blue. Everything just looks absolutely amazing. And I didn't use any super in-depth crazy knowledge that you get from like all of these graphs and all of this advanced stuff. No, we're gonna use a simple tool. I use a plugin called Dehancer. I 100% recommend it. You drag it onto your clip. Obviously it doesn't do anything because it's fresh right now. And so first things we need to do is change my, come on, you got it. We need to convert this Slog 3. Essentially, it's the picture profile that gives you the most depth of color in your camera. So if you don't shoot on Slog 3, 100% recommend it. And in order to, get it from this Slog to Rec 709, which Rec 709 is the color format on which you watch videos and which your monitor uses, your TV uses, is in Rec 709. So you just have to convert it, and all you have to do is just come into the clip, come into Lumetri color like I have, go to input LUT, and then I use this one right here. This converts it for me. You can see now this is just what it looks like in Rec 709 converted. Nothing done to it. I will leave the conversion LUTs that I use in the link in the description. I use it from Sony since I run on a Sony camera. But if you guys run in like, I don't know if you guys have a different camera like Canon or anything like that, just search up whatever camera that you use, search up the conversion LUT to that. I do that, and then I really don't touch anything else in Lumetri color except if I need to mess with the temperature. So if I want it to be perfect so that Dehancer doesn't have a problem with making all, like some colors are like way too overexposed, or it just doesn't look right, I like to first make sure that this is has a perfect white balance. So to do that, all you have to do is just find a spot in your shot that is pure white, and then just click on it, and then you can see it barely changed it. Another thing I like to do in Lumetri color before I go into Dehancer, because Dehancer is gonna do literally all the color grading except these parts. I learned this trick to enhance the depth of this entire shot from my buddy Cody. So shout out Cody if he's watching this. All you wanna do is just play around with this. I'm a very simplistic man. I'm not gonna run down like what this is doing out in the behind because I literally do not know that, but I just like to play with these and make this add just a little bit more depth, and I like to add the overall what looks best with my eyes. So turn that off, turn it on. You can see that I just upped the highlights just a little bit. I added contrast with the shadow right here on my arm, and it just looks a little bit better. These little adjustments I've realized after your color grading for years, the little adjustments, once you stack them and keep adding more and more adjustments, overall, your picture looks completely different and looks absolutely fantastic. So the more little adjustments that you can do that look really good on your eyes, the better. Now we can close lumetri color, don't look at that ever again, and we go straight into Dehancer. Now, what I personally like to do with Dehancer is I really don't touch a lot of the things. There is this little drop down, which is a film like tab. Essentially, you just come into here, you pick any of these. So let's say you want your footage to look like a Fujicolor C200. You just click that, hit enable, and now it looks like you shot off of, I think, that camera. And then you can just mess with like the push and pull to see if you like it to be like this. So I would actually do it like that because that looks really good. And now you can see it kind of has that like little tint. Or you can go and say, what happened if I want it to look like Kodak Vision 3 250D, and click on that. And then you can mess around with this and boom, like that. That's pretty cool. And another one is like right here. So you can mess around with this. I personally don't like to use these because I just like this like super vibrant kind of filmic look. So I don't touch with it, but go ahead if you want to. It's pretty cool. Film development. Now here is where this plugin saves your ass. This is where it turns this footage from this to all of this vibrant, sexy looking color. So you just enable, make sure it's enabled, and then you mess around with the color boost. Now the color boost is essentially, like it says, it's going to boost all of these colors and make it look really good. So look how I just disabled it and now enabled it. Look the major, like, oh my God, bro, it looks so good. 100, obviously 100 is way too much, but it looks really good. But I usually like to go anywhere from 70 to like 50. But I think because of this footage, 70 looks absolutely perfect. That is about the maximum that I can do for this footage without these colors looking a little too oversaturated. So right around 70, I think is perfect for my eyes at least. Now you can see that it's looking pretty similar to this shot right here. We just need to add a little bit more things. Next thing I like to do is go down to expand. I don't know exactly what this does, but I just mess around with it, and you can see that it darkens it a little bit to add more of a contrast. So disabled, enabled, you can see that it adds a lot more contrast, like just with the overall picture. I like how when you enable it, it kind of adds more contrast to my face, along with right over here, like right here, you can see it adds more depth to this, makes it look a little bit more cinematic. I love that. Again, you can mess with this white point if you want it to be a little bit brighter or darker, just like so, but I think it actually looks best if you just leave it at 100. Enabled, disabled, enabled, disabled. So it just adds that little tweaking adjustment that you use. I don't use print, I use color head though. So this also is the second thing that saves my ass a ton. I don't really know much about the lumetri color table over here, but I do know that my eyes can see the difference when I mess around with these sliders. So I like to just, whatever type of look I'm trying to go for example, if I'm trying to go for a more warmer look, kind of how this one is, you can see that it changed the building is like warm instead of right here where it's kind of like white. So what I did for that, I'm pretty sure, is I messed with the shadows in the midtones. So you can see how it changes just like so. So here is the before and then after. Before, after. All depends on what type of look you were trying to go for. This is more of like a warmish type of look. I don't really like how too like yellowish it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just change this back and let's just mess around with it. If you want like a little greener tint, that would be pretty cool. Just like that. I don't want that though. Or like a cyanide. Cyanide, I don't even know what I'm talking about, bro. I wanna go a little 10 right here. So here's the highlights that really make a difference for this entire shot, that you can either make them like super bright like that, but I don't like that because I am the star of this entire video. So if you crank it all the way to the left, you can see that the building's highlights really distract that because it's white and it's kind of pulling my eyes away from the center focal point of the entire video. So I would not do that. Instead, I would actually turn this up to 100, and now you can see I kind of blend in a little bit with it, but it's not distracting my eyes, and my eyes can seamlessly look right in the middle of the video where I am at. So that looks really clean. I think it looks really similar. Now all we have to do now is just add a vignette where they actually have a vignette in here. So if you just hit that vignette down, hit enable, now you can see there's a vignette. Obviously you can just mess with it, see how much you like it. If not, you can like turn it down even more. Just turn the size up a little bit. You can feather it out in and out just like so. And now it looks like this. Now it's a lot more focused on the middle of the shot. Other things I like to use when it comes to Dehancer is the overgates. These are actually pretty cool. I don't use them that much, but I think it's a really cool add-on. Again, you just mess with these. They have like all different type of film gates. Like this is actually pretty sick. Watch this. I like how it moves like that. You can also change like the shape, or like the shape of this. And then you can also change this to a positive. Yeah, so now it's like white. Yo, that's actually pretty sick, not gonna lie. That's sick as fuck. I love that. You can do horizontal. It looks like this. That's pretty cool. I don't swing that way, but if you swing that way, you can. Ooh, you can also make this really cool. But out of everything that this plugin has, the main reason why I bought it was because of this bloom. Bloom makes all of your videos have that like dreamy effect. I'm sure you've seen it all across everywhere on the internet. It has that like dreamy effect. I personally like to use this 16mm. So you can see I'm going to disable it, now enable it, disable, now enable. Essentially just adds this kind of like this dreamy effect onto your footage. It looks pretty dope. So disable, enable, disable, enable. You can really see it on these handrails right here. Disable it and now enable it. See, it just softens all of like the highlights and adds a bloomish look like it has. You can also come into here and hit customize, and then you can just like amplify the fuck out of this thing. So I never use the custom just because I like their pre-select ones and I just fuck with those the most. But I don't know, where is the strength? Right here, here's the strength. So you can go like crazy if you want this to really be dreamy. Personally don't like that just because it's a little too overpowering, but it actually looks pretty cool. Another thing I really love too is this halation. Halation is essentially back a long time ago, like Kodak and all those like old cameras, they had this like red tint on it. I don't know the whole history, but from my eyes and what I've seen, it always has this like red tint. And so you can see, let me zoom in here. You can see when I disable it and then enable it, you see how it has all these like red tints to it? That's pretty cool. I like to use that sometimes just to add a little bit of like filmic style to it. And yeah, that looks dope. You can also add film grain, which is amazing. The reason why I choose the film grain in Dehancer versus the one native into Premiere is because it actually acts differently with the highlights and the exposure of the videos. So you can see that it doesn't just add like an overlay, kind of how Premiere Pro does it. It almost acts differently when it's in a highlights and also a like dark spot, a light spot and a dark spot. I've noticed that with just doing, using it, like this looks pretty cool. Like this is super filmic. I absolutely love that. The funny thing is too, I actually use Dehancer to create all of my LUTs. So instead, if you don't have Dehancer, but you want to have all that color boost and look exactly like Dehancer, you can just come into here, go to creative, and then click on the look, go to browser, and I'll leave my LUTs in the link in the description if you guys want. It's right here, go to cube files, and then I just like the color boost, and then boom, you can see that it adds all of those really like vibrantness to this entire clip, just like so. You can crank it even more if you want to. There is this film look also I love. Crank that down a little much. It makes everything, all the highlights more like stronger. So you have that kind of overexposed filmic look. look. And then I also have this one-click color pop, which I also use. It has a lot of a like greenish tint, but if you just like turn it down just like so, you're gonna kind of have this like cool green type of like style that I absolutely love. So if you don't have Dehancer, you can go down in the link in the description and get the exact same color grading like Dehancer in my LUT pack. And thank you to Dehancer for collaborating. It's been a huge dream of mine. If you guys wanna learn more editing tips and tricks from me, go click this video right over here. Peace.